I was driving through Point Pleasant, West Virginia, when I first heard about the Mothman. It was a chilly November evening, and the fog was rolling in thick off the Ohio River. I'd pulled into a local diner for some coffee, hoping to shake off the drowsiness from hours on the road. As I sipped my drink, I couldn't help but overhear the hushed conversation at the next booth. An older man with weathered hands was speaking in low, urgent tones to his companion. "I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes," he insisted. It was huge, at least 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes and wings like you wouldn't believe. His friend scoffed, but there was an edge of unease in his voice as he replied, "Come on, Joe. You've been watching too many horror movies." I found myself leaning in, intrigued despite my skepticism. The waitress noticed my interest and came over with a knowing smile. "First time hearing about our local legend?" she asked. When Premier No dead, she slid into the booth across from me and began to tell me a tale that would haunt me for years to come. The story of the Mothman began in November 1966. Right here in Point Pleasant, 2 young couples were driving near an abandoned TNT plant when they encountered something that defied explanation. They described a massive, winged creature with glowing red eyes that chased their car at speeds over 100 miles per hour. Terrified, they reported the incident to the local sheriff. In the days and weeks that followed, more sightings flooded in. Dozens of residents claimed to have seen the creature, each description eerily similar to the last. The local newspaper dubbed it the Mothman, and soon the quiet town of Point Pleasant was thrust into the national spotlight. As the waitress spoke, I found myself glancing nervously out the window, half expecting to see a pair of glowing eyes staring back at me from the darkness. She must have noticed my unease because she patted my hand reassuringly. "Don't worry, honey. The Mothman hasn't been seen in years, but folks around here still talk about it like it was yesterday." I thanked her for the story and paid my bill, but as I walked back to my car, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The fog seemed thicker now, swirling around my ankles as I fumbled for my keys. Just as I was about to unlock the door, I heard a sound that made my blood run cold. It was a low, inhuman screech that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I whirled around, my heart pounding in my chest, but there was nothing there. Just the empty parking lot and the swirling mist. I practically dove into my car, my hands shaking as I turned the key in the ignition. As I peeled out of the lot, I caught a glimpse of something in my rearview mirror. For just a moment, I could have sworn I saw a pair of glowing red eyes watching me from the shadows. The next morning, I woke up in my motel room, convinced that the whole thing had been a vivid nightmare. But as I scrolled through the local news on my phone, I saw a headline that made my stomach drop. Mothman sighting reported near local diner. The article described a creature matching the legendary description, seen in the exact spot where I'd parked my car the night before. I spent the next few days in Point Pleasant, talking to locals and digging into the history of the Mothman sightings. What I uncovered was a web of mystery and tragedy that went far beyond a simple urban legend. Many residents believed that the Mothman was more than just a cryptid. They saw it as a harbinger of doom. On December 15th, 1967, just over a year after the first Mothman sighting, tragedy struck Point Pleasant. The Silver Bridge, which connected the town to Ohio, collapsed during rush hour traffic, killing 46 people. In the days leading up to the disaster, several witnesses reported seeing the Mothman near the bridge. Some even claimed that the creature had tried to warn them of the impending catastrophe. As I delved deeper into the mystery, I found myself questioning everything I thought I knew about the world. Could there really be creatures out there that defied scientific explanation? And if so, what did their presence mean for the rest of us? I spoke to cryptozoologists, paranormal investigators, and skeptics alike. Each had their own theory about the Mothman, ranging from alien visitors to government experiments gone wrong, but no one could provide a definitive answer to the question that haunted me. What exactly did those people see all those years ago? On my last night in Point Pleasant, I decided to visit the abandoned TNT plant where the first sighting had occurred. As I walked through the overgrown ruins, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The air was thick with tension, and every rustle of leaves made me jump. Just as I was about to give up and head back to my car, I heard that same unearthly screech from the night of the diner. This time, it was closer. Much closer. Ispunarond. My flashlight beam cutting through the darkness, and for a split second, I saw something that defied explanation. It was tall, at least 7 feet, with a wingspan that seemed to stretch forever. Its eyes glowed an angry red, and its body was covered in dark, matted fur. Before I could even process what I was seeing, it was gone, vanishing into the night with a rush of wind that nearly knocked me off my feet. I ran back to my car, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. As I sped away from the TNT plant, I couldn't stop thinking about what I'd seen. Was it really the Mothman? Or had my imagination, fueled by days of research and local legends, played a cruel trick on me? To this day, I still don't have an answer. The mystery of the Mothman remains unsolved, a tantalizing enigma that continues to captivate and terrify in equal measure. But one thing is certain. Whatever happened in Point Pleasant all those years ago, it left an indelible mark on the town and everyone who's ever heard the story. As I drove out of Point Pleasant the next morning, I couldn't help but glance in my rearview mirror, half expecting to see those glowing red eyes following me. The Mothman may be a legend, but the fear it inspires is all too real. And sometimes, in the dark of night, when the wind howls and shadows dance on the walls, I find myself wondering if it's out there still, watching and waiting for its next appearance.